This is a huge open-world RPG that will engulf your free time and consume your thoughts when you're away from it. But to know exactly what you're about to get yourself into, I'm going to break down and review the gameplay side of Dragon's Dogma 2. So the depth of the combat system, how each of the starting vocation classes actually play, and a few other important things you need to know. No story spoilers whatsoever though, to keep it totally Guilt Watch free. Now let's get into it. I'm Alex, and if you happen to be new here, hey, welcome. Alright, the combat in Dragon's Dogma is tied to a stamina system, but your basic light and heavy attacks don't consume any of that gauge. This makes offense usually your main priority. What consumes your stamina bar is activating weapon skills or spells, sprinting, clinging to a monster, and some vocation-specific actions. Your character's overall size and proportions dictate a few key elements that tie into this. For one, a smaller, shorter character will regenerate their stamina faster so they can use more weapon skills more often, while a taller, larger character will regenerate stamina at a slower rate. Also, overall movement speed is affected by your size. On the left is short height, short legs, and on the right is tall height, long legs. The taller one with the physically longer legs actually moves around faster than the other one. A larger character will also have a higher max encumbrance, like 58 inventory weight here, compared to the same character but smaller, having 42 instead. Your size and length of arms seems like it might very slightly influence your character's attack reach, but it's not a huge difference if much at all. Now don't worry, I know a lot of you, actually a whole lot of you, already made your character in the character creator demo thing. Before starting a playthrough though, you can entirely re-edit that character you previously made in case you need to make some changes. You can also purchase the Art of Metamorphosis book from a Rift vendor and take that to a barber to re-edit your character's size and proportions during a playthrough. You go in tall, you go in small, or you go in medium, let me know. Getting grabby is another big mechanic in Dragon's Dogma. Being able to latch on and wiggle around on larger enemies is useful for exploiting their weak spots, breaking or severing bonus materials off of them, or to knock them down to the ground. Some vocations can also use their weapon skills while they're grabbed onto someone, like the Thief being able to lodge an explosive right into their hide. And if you happen to see a big enemy looking kind of unstable or doing like a 1-foot little dance wobble, move over to them while on the ground and press the grab button on their leg to start pushing them. If you do this right, you can mess up their balance and topple them over. The grab can even be used to control some creatures like a harpy. If you latch onto one that's flying, you can directly influence where they fly to. Useful if you need to clear a gap or get up to a higher spot. If you manage to get yourself up onto a larger flying creature that's out of combat, you can actually ride it around like an aerial mount. Good luck getting down from there safely from wherever it decides to take you though. Your grabby little hands can also be used to pick up and throw smaller objects, enemies, and other characters. You could use an enemy corpse as a weapon, toss your healer at a harpy to bring him down, throw an enemy towards your teammates to set up a wombo combo, go hunting for deer with deer, or use a liquid container to apply a synergistic status effect. Some abilities can even leave behind throwable objects, like the Mage's Ice Spell, crumbling into usable ice blocks after it's shattered. Grabbing and throwing things in battle is entirely optional, but the game's built-in physics engine makes it oddly satisfying every time. Outside of combat, you might find triggerable hazards out there that can be activated with throwable objects. Ideally, don't stand right in front of them, but my heroics did open up this whole new area to explore. There's a decent amount of verticality in Dragon's Dogma 2, so it's useful to know that landing directly onto one of your pawns will let them lovingly catch you in their arms. And a bonus, that counters taking any fall damage. Thanks, Chad. Then for science sake, I tested this out from a bit higher up to see if it negates fatal fall damage. Chad! Pawns can also be used to navigate to places that your current vocation might not be able to. Like here, using the Go command lets my mage levitate over that chest and pick up the cookies for me. Pawns come with experience gained from other human players' worlds, and they can use that knowledge to lead you right to quest objectives they've already done. They can also locate collectibles and chests on your map that their owner had already found. Now let's get real. The most powerful weapon in the entire game isn't the Holy Claymore of Carnage or the legendary Staff of the Forgotten. It's actually a bridge. Wooden bridges can be destroyed, sending anything on them plummeting to their demise. Dropping a bridge also has the added effect of creating a ladder, which creates an alternate way to go up or down from there. Bridges will get rebuilt after time passes in game, so put them to use if you need to. Here I found this random Cyclops that was doing its best attempt at cosplaying as Bridge. After smacking its grip, that quickly eliminated the reign of the world's worst Cyclops. Made a decent bridge, though. Now, a quick summary of the 4 vocation classes you'll have to choose from at the start of a playthrough. The Thief's Vocation action gives them the ability to dodge. Attacking with no directional input will let you stay in one spot, and tilting in a direction while attacking will let you move around. The heavy attack can be held to pin down and perform a takedown on smaller targets, or you can use this after a jump to quickly lodge yourself into larger creatures. The Thief can also jump off of walls, plant and detonate an explosive, gain access to a stealth mode, steal items while attacking, and can put together a really useful traversal combo with the concussive step and skull splitter skills. Using one, then immediately the other, gives you essentially a double jump that can be used to cross gaps or get you up to higher elevations. The Mage's Vocation specific action lets them quick cast their spells by draining extra stamina. Thankfully, no limited use mana resource whatsoever in this. A mage's basic attacks can be shot or charged and can be imbued with elemental effects. Their heavy attack button is actually an area of effect heal, and its regenerative effects linger for a few seconds after anyone leaves it. The mage can levitate to float around, which is a huge bonus for exploration. You can levitate and attack at the same time, or cast spells while you're up there. They also get access to a spell that increases movement speed and can apply elemental effects to other characters' weapons. Self-cast it by clicking the right analog stick in, or middle mouse. They can change the spell they're channeling in the middle of a cast, and channeling spells goes even faster if other magic users in your team are channeling that same type of spell. The Fighter's Vocation action is holding up a block with their shield. Changing the block's direction is affected by your character's movement input, not the camera's direction. If you block at the last second before getting hit, you can perfect block and knock the attacker back. Their shield can also be used to negate some fall damage by using it to brace for impact. This skill actually just saved my life right here after I got chucked off of a griffin. The fighter can stand in place to attack with no directional input, or move while attacking by adding a directional input. They can also unlock the ability to charge the light attack, which turns it into a launcher. Their heavy attack can lodge itself into the target when held, and later on you get a skill that can continually stab someone over and over and over and over. Here, delicately severing the body from this tail. The fighter can draw aggro away from teammates, use their shield to launch a party member into the air, and can use their impeccable guard skill, kind of like a semi-invincible dodge move. So if you want a character that can hold up a block and have access to kind of like a dodge all in one class, a fighter plus impeccable guard. The archer gets the vocation action to manually aim their attacks with the bow. Shots without aiming will auto-target to a nearby enemy, and sprint attacking will do a slide into a more powerful shot. Their heavy attack is a close-range kick, and jump kicking into someone will spring you off of them, and then that can be followed up with a quick aerial shot. Some of the archer's weapon skills will require you to buy or craft special arrows to use them, like an explosive or tar shot. Other skills will just cost stamina to use, like rapid-fire shots and strong pinpointed snipes. They also eventually get access to a stronger but harder to line up arrow draw by clicking in the right stick or middle mouse while aiming. So that's the 4 starting vocations you'll have to pick from, but there's more that you'll unlock later, and even a special vocation that adds a whole new layer of combat depth. But let's now talk about combat controls for a sec. I tried numerous custom control tweaks until I found the perfect setup I liked. I changed light and heavy attack to right bumper right trigger, sheath on the top face button, grab on the left face button, weapon skill 1 and 2 on right bumper right trigger, and vocation action on left trigger. This setup lets me attack and move the camera at the same time. Useful since there's no lock-on targeting for the camera. I also prefer vocation action on left trigger since that can aim the bow, dodge, block, or quick cast depending on your vocation. That's what I use, but let me know if you like that change or if you prefer the defaults. Now, if you haven't been able to already tell for yourself yet, I can confirm that Dragon's Dogma 2 is a masterfully crafted RPG. I would even go as far to say it's one of the best open-world RPGs I've played. I know. Its gameplay loop is highly rewarding, focusing on tactile combat, freeform exploration, and concise storytelling. The NPCs usually just get straight to the point to get you right back into the game. Overall, for me, Dragon's Dogma 2 is an easy 5 out of 5 RPG, and I think it's going to be some people's game of the year right here in March. It's expansive, it's epic, it's ridiculous, and it's addictively fun, while easily touting the best cooking animations of all time, because they're not animations, they're just life. And with that, there is my review. But let me know what you guys think of Dragon's Dogma 2 after you get a chance to put some time in, and tell me what your favorite vocation is up to that point. If you have any direct questions about the game, feel free to hit me up right here at Boomstick Alex. Thanks for checking this out today, and for sticking around till the very end. I'll see ya.